if you live in the United States of America, you live in the capitalist society. That's a capitalist country. United States is a capitalist country. So people need to understand that. United States is the only country in the world where you can dream big, you can work hard, and you can make it really big, and you can make a lot of money. A lot of people are not worried about activism and all this other stuff. People come to the United States of America for opportunity. They don't
Yeah.
come here to be an activist. They don't come here to hold signs and worry about what somebody's doing on the street corner and worry about police brutality and worry about all this other stuff. They could care less about that.
Yeah.
They see the United States of America as opportunity.
Yeah. And
So
those matches can
and
get you
and
deported, right?
unfortunately, there's been a big drift because the old guard of the old Black Americans, they talk about how we need to do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. There was done already. They were doing it. They were
Yeah.
building up cities. They
Yeah.
had if you go watch some of their old stuff, their old films, their old documentaries, they had radio stations Black owned.
Yep.
They
Yep.
had newspapers Black owned. They
Yep.
had
Mechanics.
supermarkets,
When I was
mechanics.
a yep.
The guy who created the Super Soaker was a Black American. Person who created GPS was a Black American. But the reality is there was some sort of time warp or something that happened throughout time where a lot of them stopped going into that. They stopped becoming looking at the United States. Not all of them, because there's a lot of Black Americans out here that are thriving, making big. And you
Let
want to
me
hear
tell
something
you
funny?
something, right?
They're not listening to Tariq Nasheed. They're getting up every day and
And
they're
going to work.
getting
Yeah.
to going to work. Trust me, the
Yeah.
reality is it's a small niche, and Tariq Nasheed is trying to rile up everybody and saying you're a foreigner, you're a foreigner, you're a foreigner.
Mhm.
But the reality is, it's kind of like we're at the point where we're going into 2025. There is artificial intelligence coming in. They're getting ready to unload the metaverse. They're creating cryptocurrency, CBDC, stable coins. We're in the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah, we're in it right now. I've
Ex-
made a lot of videos about this, warning
and,
people.
and, 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 and in the fourth industrial revolution, it's man mixing with machine.
Yeah.
And what happens is when in the fourth industrial revolution, it becomes a technocratic society where human beings are no longer needed.
It's happening
And
right now.
and robots and
Yeah.
technology does all the work.
Way more is gonna do the Uber.
Exactly.
There's driverless semi trucks.
Semi
Most
trucks,
black
yeah,
guys drive
2040.
trucks.
Yeah, 2040 semi-driverless trucks are coming out. Elon Musk is going to be shipping out. So a lot of Black Americans need to
Airplanes are
focus on.
autopilots right now for the most part. They just need a pilot for takeoff and
E
landing for the last 25
exact
years.
exactly. There's
Um,
self-driving Uber, self-driving cars. Elon Musk created self-driving cars, which do Uber rides already is starting
have
off
you
in
noticed
California.
something? People forget
Yeah,
to always think about this. When you
yeah,
go to the grocery stores,
yeah,
there's very few human checkouts now.
yeah,
There's more. They used to deploy a few machines and they still have humans.
yeah,
This new Kroger, this new HEB that you just built up here,
yeah.
I think 80% of the checkout is just self machine. You
Exactly.
know how many jobs that is, bro?
Yeah,
And like, I mean, we're my company does pharma distribution, and most of our distribution right now is robots. Like I see it in our emails. I see it all the time,
yeah,
bro. Like this,
yeah,
and we've had these robots for almost 5 years now.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So now the question is, how do you? I know you can't beat the robot, but how do you join the robot party?
That's the question, and that's where people need to start coming up with solutions. They need to start studying this stuff. They need to start getting educated in this stuff. And and
But
and
how
and
are you
and, and
gonna do it if you're sitting on a Tariq?
thank you, thank
Like
you.
how
That's the
how's
problem.
that gonna happen?
But that's the thing, though. That's the great deception, though. That's what they want. They want guys to sit down there and listen. While they build this fourth industrial revolution, the sheep are sitting down here arguing about diaspora wars. But then you see them arguing about this. But then you see them all in the nightclubs together. You see them on Dirty
Yeah,
December together. You see them in what do you call it? Dominican Republic together. You see them in
yeah.
Miami together. You see them in the clubs and then the parties in Atlanta scene together. Trust me, it's just all he's doing is create confusion. Because at the end of the day, let's be real. At one point, he was sitting down here. selling those documentaries with Hidden Colors, which were I thought were, especially the first one was a great documentary. It was
Okay.
opening eyes for a lot of people. And then all of a sudden one guy started talking about we were that Black Americans are natives. And then he just all of a sudden shifted and just started going into, oh yeah, ADOS and FBA. And it's just like at this point
He
he had
used to
lost
have a
me.
Pan African moment at some point, right?
Yeah,
Like
he was
just
he was he was strictly Pan-African. He was strictly pro-African. He would go to Ghana.
I
South
saw you do
Africa.
Ghana
He
and
would go
South
to
Africa.
South
Yeah.
Africa. He would go to this country, that country, and he would promote his thing. And he would have great relations with those people over there and all this stuff. And he had a Nigerian person as one of his assistants and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, he started talking. He was going
You
into
think
white
he's going
supremacy.
through something mentally, or this is just money for him? Like it's
Uh,
just a money
uh,
grab? I don't think
honestly,
deep down he hates Africans. I don't think he does.
I
I
think
think it's just a
honestly,
money thing, right?
I honestly think I don't know. There's some people who say he works for the government. I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't honestly at this point because you don't know who. There's his own people are fighting with him, saying he's an agent. His own people.
Oh, or
His
he's
own
been calling
people.
other people agents.
And his own people, as Black Americans, are saying that this guy's an agent. He's there. I hear some of them saying, "Stop fighting." Going into this, Black Americans saying, "Just leave this diaspora. Leave this diaspora war. This is all stupidity. Don't this guy's an agent. He does it. He's just out here for his own personal gain. He was
But
at
he's
a
he's really got some people to really believe this. I had a black kid join our stream a
mhm,
couple
yeah,
days ago,
yeah,
and he was very emotional about this stuff. Like he was like really talking the Tariq talk. I'm like, man, young man, are you not aware of where the world is going right now?
yeah, and that's the
I've
mental
just taken
illness.
2 jobs to the Philippines.
Mhm.
Those jobs would have paid about they were entry level jobs. They would have paid at least about 120,000 ish. We couldn't find SAP engineers, so we went to the Philippines and got
To
them for
Philippines,
15,000.
exactly.
So what do you think my company will do next? They're gonna if they can get them for 15,000, they're probably gonna pick 4 of them and they just work third shift from the Philippines. They just join our calls.
Yep, correct. Yeah, I used to outsource all types of work over to people in Kenya
Hey, you
because
see?
they would do the job. They would do it for dirt cheap. So people need to understand that these companies are going overseas. These companies
Yeah.
are going to
Even if the
Lebanese.
immigrants don't move here, you're better off with the immigrants here because at least they'll spend some of the money, not all of the money, but they'll spend some of the money here.
Yeah,
When they
yeah.
outsource these jobs, that not a dime comes here, not even tax money comes here.
No, totally. And let me tell you something. The immigrants have always been in America. Like this is not no new phenomenon. Like Marcus Garvey, even what's his name over here? The guy of the Nation of Islam. What's his name over here?
Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
Laris Farrakhan, he's from Trinidad. The immigrants have always been in the United States. This is not no nothing. They've been here since the 1800s. Some of them even came over here during the transatlantic slave trade. They might have made a stop
Right.
over there and then they came over. So this is not no new phenomenon. But the problem is just a lot of these people they don't understand history. They don't read books, and then they follow the traps of certain people, and then they enamored by this
Yeah.
guy, and then they end up talking his talking points and then they ended up letting him hold them back he holds them back psychologically instead of pushing them and trying to make them understand where the future is going. You got to go where the
Yeah.
future is going. You can't be living in some sort of time warp or living in your head about some immigrant, but you don't see him outside. You don't see him. He won't go outside and do any of this stuff or talk all this stuff. He's not
Yeah.
on street corners talking all the go to New York, go to Brooklyn, New York, and talk about the immigrants and see what happens to him over there with all those
Yeah.
Caribbeans over there and stuff like that. Like this is all stupid rhetoric. Nobody cares about
Yeah.
this.